Hello everybody, what's going on? And welcome back to the Road to Glory career mode. I hope you're all doing well. If you missed the previous episode, it was a few days ago now. I recommend you guys go and check that out before you watch this one. Obviously, because I'm about to spoil what has happened in that playoff final, which that was the last episode in the series. But today, it's season number 3, episode 1 for you, and it is the start of championship life for us. So, I'm excited to say the very least. We've got some new signings joining us this season and some absolute gems for the future in terms of young game-generated players. So we'll get to see all that coming up a bit later. But before we jump into the new season, we had to take a quick look at the squad report to end off the previous year, see some of the stats and how they performed. And as I was looking through this, I mentioned the impact that Mason Greenwood has had to us here at Forest Green. When I actually saw the stats between him and Guruzeta, there wasn't a lot in it, but I don't know what it was about Mason Greenwood. This year for us, he was so good, and he was vital, you could say, to us actually going up. So I don't think Guruzeta's a bad player by any means, but it is going to be difficult trying to replace Mason Greenwood next year. Obviously, that might be where Guruzeta just steps up and, becomes our natural number 9 striker. But, yeah, as we took a look through the squad hub, there was one player who was taking all the headlines, as you probably would have guessed. Diego Lopez, just so damn important to us here at Forest Green. So he stays for another season unless anything drastic happens in the transfer window in the Championship. I'm not going to say anything, but I will say, if there's any teams out there that need a central attacking midfielder / winger, because actually he's not too slow either, is Lopez, then they will be looking at us and saying, why is he still playing in the Championship? But for now, he remains a Forest Green player. We'll see if there is any offers that do come in for him later on. But as I show you the other leagues from around the world and who is winning what, I mean, there's no real surprises here. But there was the Bundesliga. Dortmund beat Bayern by a point, which I found was pretty funny, in all honesty, because you just don't expect to see Bayern lose it. And the fact it was by a point makes it even worse for them. Barca, I think, won La Liga, and they actually won it on 110 points. Real finished second with 106 and didn't win the title, which is madness. They must have been just so frustrated with that. But anyway, we moved into the new season. Of course, Greenwood went back to Manchester United, and as previously said, I don't think we'll get him back this year. I just can't imagine they'll let him come back to us, especially as he is probably good enough to be featuring in and around the first team. Maybe not in ratings, but certainly what he adds to the team. I just don't think that Manchester United will look to loan him out again this season. So I went looking for a replacement, and as you always should do whenever you're playing through a lower league save, in fact, you could even do this if you are playing with a Premier League team, always check the free agents at the start of the new season because there's some gems that appear in there. Starting with that player there, Solano, a new striker. Not only is he a new striker, he's Colombian, he's 20, and he has a 5-star weak foot. You might remember we purchased, I think it was Sean Haroum, was it, from Toulouse in the French league because he was a striker with a 5-star weak foot. And then all of a sudden, Solano comes in as well. 70 rated already. To add to that, we pick up this man, Alexander. I'm going to say Fiesa. I apologize if I've got that wrong. Do let me know with a comment, but that's how I'm going to pronounce it. So Fiesa comes in as another free agent. And that was 2 top-tier new signings that could already come into the first team. And we paid only their wages, which was sensational. And then I looked to maybe bring in somebody else out wide. Lucas Peterson from Chelsea is a player that would do bits in the Championship. Now, we agreed on a fee of £0.8 million with Frank Lampard. The one thing that was going to let us down, though, was the wages. He was on £70,000 a week at Chelsea, and he was willing to come to us for £45,000. He would have been one of the higher paid Championship players, but we just couldn't do it. So in the end, as much as I would have liked to have added Lucas Peterson to our side, we couldn't get it done. So at this current time, we headed off into our first Championship game with only 2 signings to our name. Fiesa and also Cristian Solano, the Colombian striker, and I think Serbian left back, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong with that, so I apologize if I am. But yeah, both of those guys picked up free agents, and they both started in this first game here. So no Guruzeta in our starting 11, you may have noticed. And I should say as well, probably showed you this, the slider settings, they're still the same as they were in the previous season. So that's what we're running with. Ultimate difficulty, of course, and seeing how we get on. But from the first sort of 15 or so minutes, I was just trying to get a lot of touches of the ball to try and kind of ease ourselves into it and get used to playing in the Championship, because it's a little bit quicker pace, I'd say, than League One is. Not too much But I was seriously, you know, made to pay for a mistake here. We threw the ball in. Mitchell took too long with the pass. We were then dispossessed, and 2 players pretty much from Nottingham Forest causes the problems, and they were 1-0 up inside 15 minutes. So you can't really make mistakes because you will be punished in the Championship. And in the second half, we weren't really looking threatening at all. Another mistake by Mitchell. This time, as we go to head the ball clear, he heads it back into the centre. And yeah, they profit pretty much again. So Forest were 2-0 up at this stage, and we were just getting dismantled, in all honesty. And it came from 2 Mitchell mistakes, who has been so good for us in League One. But as he starts Championship life, he's not really started off the way we would have hoped. And what you will see in today's episode actually is Lopez. If it was anybody to try and get us back in this game, it would have been him. And look at that for a finish. This is what I'm talking about, man. He's just so good in and around the penalty area. Fires it in the bottom corner. That's a finish quality worthy of playing in the Premier League. So yeah, hopefully we're there next year, but we'll see how the season goes. But as we drew the first game to a close, we lost 2-1 to Forest, and it came from 2 mistakes at the back by us. And as I show you these match facts, there's nothing in it. It's 2 shots apiece, 2 on target. They scored 2, we scored 1. So I came out of the game, and immediately my first thought was, we need a new goalkeeper. Jay Cook, yes, he was decent for us last year in League One, but he's not going to cut it in the Championship. That has become apparent there with that first game. He faced 2 shots. Didn't really get near either one of them. So I spent quite a lot of time trying to find a new goalkeeper. I was looking for a young goalkeeper to come in and maybe train up. But then I decided, what's the point in doing that when we have Mitov and Jay Cook? So I went the other end and looked for an experienced goalkeeper to come in and be our new number 1. And look no further than Mr. Joe Hart, a former England international, still at Burnley, 34 years of age, 76 overall, £15,000 a week on the wages, around about £3.5 million to bring him here to the new lawn to be our new number 1. To add to that as well, I wasn't happy with the defensive side of our game against Forest. Mitchell, a few mistakes creeping in there, and I wasn't totally sure about Rawson either. So I went out and I signed Ribeiro on loan, I think from Schalke or Hoffenheim, one of the 2 of those, as he will come in to be a nice backup option. But with the signing of Joe Hart, that does allow us, of course, to now have one of the best goalkeepers in the Championship, pretty much. He is already coming in, and in ratings-wise, he is up there with the very best. The question is, can he actually do it for us, still at the age of 34? And I was quite surprised as well, because I'd forgotten about this totally. With us winning the Carabao Cup last season, and you might remember that Everton game, how ridiculous it was. It was so hard to play. It was when the new Ultimate Patch had just come out. Crazy good. I actually didn't realise that we had an opportunity to play Europa League football. We've got a qualification round here against Bromby, and it means that if we do advance through, we will now be into the Europa League. Now, I'm not so sure about this, though, because it's going to be a long Championship season. I don't think that playing Europa League should be something we're looking to do, especially if we want to try and be competitive in the Championship, because what it will add is midweek games, and we may already have midweek games as well in the Championship. It just adds so much more games to your schedule that you just don't really want. So I wouldn't be disappointed to get knocked out here, but then again, if we can match them and do the job, then if we get through, we get through, pretty much. I wasn't going to throw the game away by any means. That was something that I could not do. We had the lead, actually. Lakeda had scored the opening goal, but 16 minutes in, they were able to find the equalising goal. The ball in towards Mukhtar at the near post. And Joe Hart, facing his first shot of the night, was beaten by it as well. So maybe we were a little bit harsh on Jay Cook in looking to replace him with Joe Hart, because first shot, no save, and yeah, it was 1-1 in the game. And looking at the 2 teams, actually, on paper, there wasn't a lot separating them. They had Britta Sombalonga up front, so former Championship striker himself, and that kind of made me think that maybe we actually are in this game and could do the job. Gurazeta squandered a big chance, though. He made it himself with a great turn, and then he should have finished it off, and in the end, it was a decent save by the goalkeeper, and the chances were flowing for us in the first half. Diego Lopez with this one, as he goes narrowly wide of the bottom corner, looking to place it there, and the keeper was beaten, but as you see, it was just not quite good enough. As speaking of defensive errors, Mitchell the first game, Rawson this one. Rawson was the player marking Mukhtar for the header in the first goal, and then cross into the box, fairly routine to deal with. The volley is supposed to go, I think, to Lakeda on the edge of the penalty area there. Instead, just gets his touch completely wrong, straight to their player, and it ended up going in the back of the net. So Not a lot we could have done about that one, but Rawson has to take the responsibility. Thankfully, when you've got Diego Lopez in your team, you can make it 2-2, as if you give him a chance, he's going to score it inside that sort of position. And we were given as good as we were getting in this Europa League qualification game. So that's where I go back to my point, you know. We probably could get into it, but then we just have so many more games to play that is it worth it? As we sent Solano through on goal, and he failed to hit the target. Oh, he was brought on as a substitute. Fresh legs. He was released through. And then all of a sudden, he had so much of the goal to aim at that I think he got a little bit confused about what he was going to do. Whether or not he was going to go back across the keeper or go to that near post. He ended up trying to go near post. And he went wide in the end. So, yeah, wasted the chance. And a game where we were sort of the better side there against Brøndby, we couldn't quite manage to find the win. Match facts, again though, we conceded 2 against Forest, having only conceded 2 shots. We conceded 2 there as well. So that was a theme that kept recurring towards us. Now, don't know if that's down to the goalkeeper, I don't know what it's down to. But for the third and final game anyway, we took on Derby County. And let me just say, this felt like, no matter what we were going to do here, we were always destined to not get anything out of this match. You can see the side. There is no Lopez in there. He'd literally just played in that Brøndby game, and there was a day rest period between that and this, which is one of the worries about this Europa League potential run that we could go on. But you could sense the nerves were there straight away. Half an hour in, Joe Hart was all over the place. He went to clear the ball. It was blocked, and the press from Derby in this game was relentless. They were just so high up the pitch. I couldn't get out of our defensive third. And yeah, McGinley gave the ball away. He was in for Rawson today. So it seems like whichever one we put in, McGinley or Rawson, neither one of them really are doing a good job. But Martin Waghorn, edge of the penalty area, just does that. And that goal was coming. We should have conceded moments before with Hart's little mix-up, which was sent over the crossbar after the open goal. But I did scratch my head a little bit and think, well, he's done that from there. What can we really do against that? So we had to come back, and we were able to create a chance to do just that. Guruzeta finding Winchester for him to fire it into the bottom corner. And I have to give credit where it's due. Guruzeta here, great touch control in order to play this off as well with the second touch. And then Winchester makes no mistake with the finish. But that was short-lived because in the second half, again, the press from Derby came in. We got caught. Waghorn, I mean, he can do this, what, 10 times over the course of the season? How many times would it work? That's twice today alone. Same position. Same type of shot, same outcome. So 2-1 Derby, the same scoreline that we lost to Nottingham Forest was the scoreline we were heading to. And looking at it from that angle there, I was kind of a bit frustrated with Joe Hart that he didn't save that shot because it looked like he probably should have done just that. So again, 90 minutes of championship football over and done with. And we lost another game. 2 games, 2 losses. Same scoreline on both of them as well. 2 shots on target I think Derby had from the game. They did create more chances today, so I can't even say we deserved to get much out of that game because, you know, it wasn't like we were dominant or anything like that. But you look at those match facts, and it's fairly even. The only difference is they created a couple more chances than we did, but they also didn't put them on target. So you can kind of look at that game and just say, what are we supposed to do there? Martin Waghorn, he's just decided he wants to bang 2 in from the edge of the penalty area. And he's probably been doing that in training and not paying off. So paid off for him there, and Derby got the win. So, yeah, to say the very least, difficult start. So, a good start in the Europa League qualification. I'm not really sure what my plan is for this season. I don't know where I expect to finish or where I want to finish. Of course, I want to be in with a shout of going to the Premier League as early as possible. But at the end of the day, looking at how the season has started, that might not be possible just yet. I'm showing you the players who've left the club as well, and one notable departure is George Williams. He has gone, he's left the club, he was never going to get game time for us in the Championship. Been with us since the start, and now he moves on to better things for hopefully him to get more first team football. But as we end off the day then, that is the Championship table. We're down in 19th after the first 2 games. I hope we're not there come the end of the season. I want to be up in the playoff shout and try and be there or thereabouts. But if you did enjoy this first episode, a like would be greatly appreciated. As always, a huge thank you for all of your support on the channel as well. I really appreciate it. If you are new around here and like what you see, hit that subscribe button down below to follow us on the channel. Much appreciated that as well. I will try and get the second episode out for you very soon. If you've got any suggestions of signings that you want to see, we do have about £5 million to work with, so do leave me a comment down below. But until next time, have a great day, have a great evening, and I will see you all again very, very soon with another episode. Adios.